story. Let's go. So the topic for today is breakups. So what? Uh, and the and we will get into that. What we'll do is we'll try and understand breakups. And normally we associate breakups with romance or romantic, but breakups are not necessarily romantic. Breakups are in any relationship, and we'll get a little bit into understanding about what happens, what are the implications for your nervous system, and is there a path forward? So I share with you a path I use when I work with people. And then what we'll do is we'll practice together and see what it provokes into you and helps you to create an experience. And then, of course, you can always come back to integrate. So that's the idea. Okay, that's what we are going to do today. Now, let's talk about relationships. So, no relationship, and before we get into breakup, let's talk about relationships. So, you, all of us, each of us, have lots of relationship. We have these strings attached, which are our bonding due to relationship with our parents, grandparents, if you're married with spouse, children, if you have children, siblings, and then you go into education, you have teachers, you have friends, you have romance, sexual experiences. You also deal with government institutions, religion, and if you start to go to work, you have a boss, you have colleagues, you become a manager, you have people working for you. And I just took just a very simple, very simplified version. I mean, then you could have many others, but just to say that you is not having just one relationship, but you are having tons of relationship around you. Now, every relationship, each of these string has a history. You have an experience, and you have emotions attached to it, which means based on the way you had experience in that relationship, you would have an emotion attached to it. So if I ask you, so how do you feel about your parents or your sister or your brother or your grandparents, you will respond in a form of an emotional response saying, well, and that comes from your experience. Now, some relationships are good, some are not so good, and some are actually terrible. And the issue is the one where it's not so good and the terrible ones, because those ones are the ones that create imbalance or disharmony in our system. Now, talking about breakups, we have two kinds of breakups. One is a breakup where somebody leaves you or you leave somebody. Like you had a relationship, and it could be again, I'm not getting into only romantic one, but it could be also with workplace, it could be with a friend, with a colleague, uh, or with a parent. Now, two kind of relationship breakups. One where it's a choice, your choice, or the other person chooses to break. The other one is where it happens because of a sudden loss. Okay? It could be because of a death, can be because of a disease or accident or other reasons. When somebody just is no more there, it's also a breakup. In your system, it is taken like a breakup. The other thing which is important to know is that it has happened in the past. So it could have happened sometime when you were a little baby to 6 months ago. But the thing why it bothers you is because you are living from that experience even today or every day. And this creates stress in your system, this creates imbalance. And what it does is changes your beliefs and perceptions about everything. So it's like as if you wear a set of glasses and you see the world from those glasses. And those glasses or filters have the experience completely mapped into it. And that's how we see the world, or that's how you are seeing the world. Now, breakups have deep impact. There are two kinds of trauma that you could pick up. One is in the case of a choice, where it is because there is a choice. There is a story which has happened before the break. So it's not that suddenly there is like you decide to go. One, you can be shocked by it, but there is a story that always goes before it happens. And then there is a trauma that happens as a consequence of the breakup. So you could have two kinds of trauma. In the case of sudden, there are also two kinds of trauma. One is the shock because it was not expected, and second one is the loss itself, which is like as if there's an end to a relationship, and that trauma or what is the consequence of that is taken into the system, and you're changed forever. Your view of the world gets altered from the experience. This is what I was talking about, is those filters. The filters come from what happens to you, the trauma itself. There can be sometime, many time, breakups have positives. They always are. But to look at the positive, you have to change your perspective, as if you have to look from a different lens altogether, as if you have to change the filters to look at from another perspective, because the most perspective is of a loss. Something was mine, taken away. And that creates that sense of, and we will get into what kind of emotions, but that sense of change in the belief system has big difficulty to bring in a different perspective, which is what can be positive. So if you ask somebody, if you go deeper into working with a person, they will always come back saying, well, yeah, there is something good there, but today I'm not able to see the good because I'm living in the emotion of the loss. Uh, the negative effects are very damaging if not well managed, which is what the trauma starts to settle in. And when it settles, it then becomes root cause of sometimes diseases. We've seen so many examples of cases where diseases come in because the loss created that sense of agony, pain, anger, frustration, abandonment. I mean, it could be a lot of things. And so it can result in disease, or that's where addictions come from, because the pain is so big for the system that to numb the pain, people get into addiction. So it can be alcohol, it can be drugs, it could be anything else, any form of addiction. I mean, gambling, all addictions. If you look into and study addictions, one of the most common thing that they talk about is there was a pain that had to be released or that had to be numbed. That's why I started doing whatever I started. And so addictions come in. And if if un, if they stay unresolved, the effects carry lifetime. I mean, I've seen examples of 40, 50, 60 years of carrying of the trauma, the weight of the loss, and then goes into generations. When we work on legacy burdens, which means burden that came from your parents into you or the others, one of the most common burden that gets carried comes from losses or breakups, as we call it. So they and your loss, if unresolved, gets passed to your next generation in form of effects, because trauma goes through post generation into next generation lines. Now, so the question is there a path to move on in life? So what happens typically when people go through breakups? one of the few things happen. They they have difficulty in creating or forming or maintaining new relationships. It's very difficult for them because of lack of trust, mostly on themselves. There is a lot of there is a risk of emotional imbalance in the existing ones. So as you saw the tree. So it's not only just that a loss in an emotional relationship can have an impact on workplace. I mean, I work a lot with people with burnout at workplace, and almost 90% there is mostly nothing to do with workplace. The root is in the life that then gets impacted into workplace. It adversely affects your belief system completely. The way you look at everything is from a filter which is changed. Now, what often they feel is I'm stuck. I've tried many things, and the emotion that do get repeated is about being abandoned. There's a lot of guilt, my fault, shame because I had to go through that, grief, loss because of loss, anger, sometimes rage, and a lot of loneliness. And these emotions get repeated. And what they are actually looking for, when you ask questions, saying, what are you looking for? Their ability to connect. One of the first thing that you'll find with people that have lost is they would like to have connection, the ability to connect, trust in myself and others. Because when you have breakups, the first thing that goes away is trust. You don't trust anyone, you don't trust yourself. So building trust is one of the things. And then, of course, having a meaningful life. And so I come back to this model. If you've seen, if you've been here before, you've heard that. So this is a model that I work with, and I work with people. And the model is very simple. You start by cutting the roots, go to the trauma, because they are at the bottom of everything. Work with them, get them out of your system as much as often and as many as you can. Then the second thing which is needed to do, because once traumas go away, then light has to be shown, because that is a way to look forward to something. Because when you look at people that are going through any kind of difficulty, they lose sense of where am I, what do I want for myself. So giving them a purpose, goals, helps them to move forward, because it could be a goal about a relationship, it could be a goal about anything. And then what they have to do is to start to work around what they have just created on a piece of paper, which is what do I want for myself? Remove all the barriers, uh, give it a shape, what we call daily habits, daily small routines, small simple things to do so that you can take baby steps. And sometime you have to come back. So basically, just to come back on that same thing is you start by releasing trauma, free yourself from grief, suffering. Okay, then create a North Star. What do I want for myself? If it is a romantic relationship, what am I looking for? If it is a workplace relationship, what am I looking for? If it's a relationship with somebody I lost, what am I looking for? So create that story and then start to work with what I call daily rituals of staying on the path. It's very easy to go onto it and then lose track. And so what you normally keep doing is you keep going back and forth. So it's not a linear path. You always keep going back and go back to traumas again, because sometimes you come back, you see, wow, there is something there. I remember when I was 7-year old, 8-year old, this happened, and so I have to clear it. And so you come back again. So it's a path that goes in circles for some time. And very soon you start to find yourself breathing into air, start to build any new relationship. But what you're actually doing is building trust on yourself, and then you start to move in. And what I put as a step 5 is this is when you start to come back and give it back to the world, because your experience is a lesson for so many others that just lose it. A lot of people just do not come out of the first step because they don't get into that, and so they stay in cycle. That's why people feel stuck. So that's just to give you the background of it, and now we are going to practice, get into something ourselves. And so this is what we are going to do. I'm going to build in a resources, connect to the breakup, look at the fears, and heal traumatized part. Okay, so I just want you to get a bit comfortable. Take a moment and be in a comfortable position. You can keep sitting, you can lie down, whatever makes you comfortable. And see what your body needs and feels comfortable in. You can keep your eyes closed or you can keep them open. Just if you keep them open, just soften your gaze. And you can put your feet on the ground so you feel the ground. And do whatever feels right for you now. And just start to turn your attention inwards. The pace slows down as you go inward. Now notice your breath as it moves in and out. Just follow it. And you can as well breathe a little slower and deeper than usual. Find an easy rhythm that's comfortable to you. Let's find a place where you will feel safe and connect to it anytime during the session if you feel overwhelmed. Now imagine a place where you feel completely safe. A place where you have been to, or a place in your imagination. Imagine this place in as much detail as possible. Notice where you are. What do you see? What time of day and what time of year is it? Is it warm or cold? What do you hear? What can you smell? What feel do you have in this place? And how does your body react in this safe place? What could make this place even more safer? that possible. And please give a name to this place. And know you can go there anytime you feel overwhelmed. Now let's ground your body and connect it to the divine energy. Continue to stay with your breath, breathing in, breathing out as you follow it. Now imagine you're floating 500 feet into the air. And imagine a white light is coming down from the heavens, flowing into your body, filling up your head, your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your belly, your legs, and going through your feet deep into Mother Earth, taking all the powerful energy of Mother Earth and coming back through your feet, filling up your legs, filling up your belly, stomach area, your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your neck, and your head. And feel this powerful energy making you connected to Mother Earth. Now think of one relationship that you would like to work on while you are listening to me before, if something came up, something you would like to work on, relationship that ended in a breakup. As you think about it, just notice what all starts to come on. Now make an invitation and notice where you feel it in and around your body. As you think about it, just notice where you feel it in or around your body. Just going to invite you to stay a little longer so you can feel the sensations that are there. As you connect to the sensations, notice if anything, this part where you feel it wants you to know about itself. Listen it to speak to you. And notice how you feel towards it. Maybe you are annoyed with it, or even hate it, or are afraid of it, or are sad about it. Just notice your feeling. If you don't feel anything, can you ask your analytical mind to allow you to feel you are in a safe environment? Connect to the sensation you feel in, and see if you could just like to get to know it better. And it may have some surprising things to tell you. In other words, see if you could be mindfully curious about it, just to know what it may have something to tell you. If you could get to that curious place, notice how you feel towards it now. Notice the sensation in and around your body. From this place of being curious, ask it what it wants you to know about itself. It may have something to tell you. Hear it from a place of curiosity. You can ask it, what is its intention for you? And wait for an answer. Don't think of an answer. Let the thinking part relax. Just wait for an answer to come to you from this place in and around your body. Are you getting what it wanted you to know about itself and its intention? Now ask it, what is it afraid would happen to you if it didn't do this inside of you? And just wait for an answer. What is it afraid of? As you heard its fears, see if you can be a bit more compassionate towards it and ask it again. And then what happens if you're afraid of that? And then what happens? What next? And let it answer. And you can further ask, and then what happens? What are you really afraid of would happen? And if you got an answer to that question, then it told you about what it is protecting you from. So if it is possible, extend some appreciation to it or some compassion for it and see how it reacts to that. Now ask it, how old were you when it all happened? What was going on at that time? And let it respond. Now ask it if it would like to heal or change that part that it protects. Would it allow you to heal? And wait for an answer. It could be the little you, the age that it told you that wants to be healed. And see if it can allow you to heal that. If it says yes, then thank it. If it doesn't allow it, then ask it what needs to happen for it to allow you to heal, and wait for an answer. And thank it for letting you know whatever it did, and be in the place of compassion for it. Now, if it showed you a younger you of the age when it all happened, you can tell it, wait for me while we work with the younger you. And it can stay on the side, observe, be with you while you work with the younger you. Now see if you can connect to the younger you. And see the younger one standing right in front of you. If it is overwhelming you, just let it know that it doesn't have to overwhelm you. You're here in peace and in love. So see if you can face the younger you, have the younger one looking at you in front of you. If you have to move towards it, go ahead, do that. So make a connection. Now, how do you feel towards this younger one? See if you can show some compassion towards it. And see if he or she is looking at you. Now ask the younger you if it is okay for it to share its story, what it went through, the events, the emotion, the beliefs. And you can always tell it, don't overwhelm me. I'm here. I'm here to listen in love and compassion. And see if it is able to tell you. Listen to it. Listen in peace till it is done. Ask the younger you, what should have happened then that did not happen? Listen to the answer. Stay compassionate. What should have happened then that did not happen? Now, in your own words, assure the younger one that you will not let it happen again, that it was in the past. Ask the younger one if he would like to move to a safer place of his choice. If it says no, ask it what needs to happen for it to allow, and see if you can assure the younger one with love and compassion. Ask again if it's ready to move to a safer place of its choice. And if it is ready, you tell the younger one that before you go there, let's release all that you have been carrying into either water, into air, or light, or fire. It can choose whatever it wants to release, everything it has been carrying. So let it choose. It can choose more than one. Water, air, light, fire, earth. So whatever it chooses, please help the little one to release all its memories, its emotions, believes into the water or fire or light or earth or air till it is done. Check if it wants to release anything else, and if it says yes, release it into, help it release it into water, fire, air, earth, sound. And now ask it what qualities it could have lost at that time would it like to invite into its life. What qualities that it missed or lost due to the events that it would like to invite into its life now. Integrate those qualities into every cell of your body now. Now ask to the younger one, where would it like to go? To a safer place. It could come with you or go somewhere else. It is its choice. And see it going to this place. Feeling safe and enjoy. You can tell the younger one that you're going to check occasionally with it and thank all the parts that allowed you to heal, the one that allowed to heal the younger one. Thank it. And check with it. Check with the breakup and see what sensations, what it feels like now. And let it know that you're going to check in every day to see how it feels. Thank it for allowing you to heal it, for it to bring whatever it brought to you as awareness. And when that feels complete, just follow your breath back and begin to slowly come back. And you can gently open your eyes. And take a few moments to write down what you got. Take a moment to write down, to note what you got. In the meantime, I'll prepare for the tuning forks. So the breath will be, you take a deep breath in, fill up your chest, your belly, and then when you breathe out from your mouth. Okay, so breathe in. And sometime I will ask you to breathe like It's a release. Okay. All of that is to move energy which could have been blocked. Okay. So here we go. So you can rest in a comfortable position. You can lie down. You can be sitting as you feel, and we start. We'll start below your feet, and then we'll go to the top of your head. So now I'm going below your feet. Okay, so there's a lot of heaviness. So take a breath. With a lot of heaviness. So connecting to Mother Earth. Take another breath. Breathe out. It's moving. Another breath and yeah, there it moved. Okay, so now I'm going to ground you. Take a breath. Okay, so I'm going to go to the top of the head, open the channel to divine. So here the sound is coming from the top of the head into your feet to the backbone. Again, breathing. It's much better. Another breath. Okay, this is good. So I have a lot of sensation in my sacral, so the second center, which is a lot to do with guilt and shame, and also frustrations, disappointments. So I'm going to go into the center and see whatever comes up. So I will see, say, an age, and if something comes up for you, just connect to that time of your life and just connect to whatever happened then. And that's all you do. I'm going to start from your birth and go in. Yeah, very strong. Birth, so at birth. Disappointments. So just connect to your, yeah, wow. Okay, so there's a lot going on at birth for someone, some of you. Just connect to it and send love to your mother, to the little you. And take a breath and okay, so there's a lot going on. I will use another tuning fork to clear it. Take a breath. Just send love to the little one and to your mother. still stuck. Open up a little bit. Still heavy. Yeah, better. Okay, so now cleared a bit. So it's taken me to 8-year-old. So see if you can connect to 8-year-old you, and whatever was going on, whatever comes into your mind was going on as in your life at that time, just bring it up, and that's all you do, and breathe. Okay, got released. Now exactly 16. Same, whatever comes up in your mind, bring it up, connect to it, and breathe. Okay, so I'll clear it up. Okay, so about 2 years ago, wherever you are, go back into your life 2 years ago and see what happened. And connect to it. Stay with that. And take a breath. Another deep breath. Okay, so now I'm in your mother area. So this is the legacy from your mother. So if you're aware of what your mother went through in her life, just see if you can connect to that and send her blessings, love. Wow, a lot. So there's a lot going on there. So send love to your mother. Connect to her pain, but not connect to her pain, but just know that she went through something in her life. Just send love to her while we heal her pain. But her pain is in your system now. Easing it a bit. Just send love to her. That makes it better. However has been your relationship with her, just send love to her. Okay, we are going to release whatever we have collected, let it go into the field. Released. So whatever we have worked with, I'm just going to seal it up. It continues to work in your day for the next 48 hours. I'm just going to cocoon you with 528 hertz. Relax. Just stay like that for a couple of minutes.